There is a question that Kenyans are asking. What is hidden in Shakahola forest that the state is hiding from the public? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Bold Analysis. Today, the 5th of May, Raila Odinga visited the Shakahola forest for the first time. And I remember the very last moment, there was an attempt by the journalist to let him comment when he left, when he was arriving last Friday, when he was arriving from Dubai, and he declined, saying that he could not comment on that. A day after Ezekiel was released, Raila Odinga made a trip to that place. If you look at these photos you're seeing on this other side of the screen, you can see the way he was warmly welcomed by the police, and he was accompanied by the area members of parliament and the Kilifi women rep, and also some representatives from Kilifi county government, and they walked towards the area. If you even look, there is even a photo that is trending of a police officer. One of the police officers there saluted him, and there's a bit of some drama that happened. I want to show you, I want you to watch this video, then I'll do a small recap about what happened at this point.
So where bodies were exhumed, because we are the exhumation. The IG. I'm the Kenya woman. I'm the women rep of this place. Yes.
Do you want to call your boss?
Do we need to call?
You don't. Because what I'm going
because we are listening to you.
Yeah.
If we need, because Baba can't just come on the road. Yes, because it's operation area.
But others came. Even the CS, and this was the airport. Everyone who is coming here.
The minister,
you know,
the minister went inside.
I'm not aware.
Yes,
we were together. I was there with him.
That's my decision.
You
what
decision? Do we call
Kilifi?
I think I found it. First of all, don't be angry.
No, I'm not being angry.
Which servants? We call the IG then. Because Baba can't come here and you treat him like any other person.
Please,
excuse me. Because ni maoni ulipewa instructions, si ndio? Ni zapo natupea. Yes.
Kazi ya operation ni gani? Si kweli? Hakuna mtu anajua ni kwa ile msituni other than the information. Si kweli? Sasa ni mzuri pia. Ukienda nyumba ya mtu pia hata kama sikiza na mheshimu.
Tumekusikiza, yetu ni maoni.
Pia inakuaga
he has his position in the country.
Ni sawa, na inakuaga iko middle ground. Yes. Usiharibu kazi ya mtu.
Sasa unaoka wewe sisi wale wa visa
sasa middle ground ni wapi ambao tunaweza tukapatana katikati ya fund? Ni hapa.
But you're walking away. Kwa hivyo sisi kwa tufanyaje?
Unasema ni kwenye nyumba yako. Wewe ni mpenzi kule.
Hapana. No.
Si ni kweli.
Shakahola. This Kilifi county. We are the leaders who are here. I'm the women representative. Baba comes, you're walking away. Umetuambiaje? Tupande magari twende. Hiyo ulikuwa unafanya walk away. Ulikuwa unafanya magari twende na baba.
Unajua mheshimiwa, you escalating the situation.
I'm not escalating. Ulikuwa unaenda.
You know.
You moved.
So are we doing a case?
We're not doing a case.
So
you're an officer.
Yes.
You are a service.
Now I want to ask you to pay attention because I want to explain in details what happened at that point. Immediately, these officers spotted the Raila Odinga convoy in that place. They went and they received him and directed him to some sort of a tent that is there. Now, in that tent, while Raila did not sit, and then there is a place not very far from this place, not very far from where that confrontation is going on, actually walking distance, where there are some mass graves, the graveyard, where some bodies were actually exhumed. Actually, not very far from where that place is. And those, remember those who are conducting media interviews and civil society organizations that had been visiting, that's the place they were, and that is the place that now they were locked. Remember, Raila was going there at a point when they had even ordered media out of that place. And so, this police officer in question that they're saying, he came towards Raila and said that he had instructions from, some instructions from above, not to allow anyone in that operation place because an operation is going on. And I think immediately he said that, he walked away. He started walking away. So when he started walking away, these leaders were there, then confronted him, and then he had to come back. So when he came back is where that discussion is actually going on, and where that confrontation is going on. Now I understand that while even Raila was there, in fact they said that Raila to call someone, I think to call IG Kome or someone Kilifi. And actually there is another video, there is also, I think there is another video I'll show you in the course of this analysis. There is another video where Raila actually made a call. It was not clear whom he might have called because Kome is not in the country. The IG is not in the country. Kindiki is in the country, was actually in State House. And of course, there are a number of calls. I don't think Raila would call Waziri. Maybe Raila will just call William Ruto. That's the least. That's the only person can call. He cannot call Kindiki or IG Kome. Due his caliber. So, there was a bit of them insisting that they are not going to allow anyone there. Then, this begs the question, is it a security operation going on? Or what exactly is going on? Because remember, in the same Shakahola, there is a curfew that was called there, that was ordered there, a dawn to dusk curfew. So maybe there is no movement. And what exactly is going on? Because for the last 3 days, there is nobody that has been exhumed, that is brought forth. So clearly, if you follow and you look at this, if you follow the developments in details, you can see some cover-up games going on. Let me remind you, I've always insisted, and I said in my previous analysis, that what is being covered there is really a mirage that no one really knows. Because the problem was Mackenzie. But for the last 1 week, the focus was on Ezekiel. Then Ezekiel was released. Immediately was released, there was a bit of the sanitization. Now let me tell you, that kind of operation, there is some mirage, there is something hidden in that operation. And I want you to listen to Stewart Madzayo, the Kilifi senator, once spoke when Kindiki visited the place, explaining what according to him are some of the challenges that are going on there.
Ukipata zile ndege ndogo ama ndege zile zaweza kuruka chini zaidi, tutakuwa na afueni kwa sababu tutaweza kujua wale wakora. Shamba hili ni kubwa sana. Ni kwamba ni kubwa sana. Kwa hiyo kama tunaweza kupata zile tunaita aerial drones ama helicopter zile ambazo zinakuja zinaweza kuruka chini kabisa, zikaweza kuona ni nini kinajiri pale chini, itakuwa afueni kwa sababu tunasikia ya kwamba hawa wahalifu ama hawa ma-terrorists wako huko ndani na wanaendelea na hizo activities. Hata hivi tunavyosema hapa wanaendelea na hizo activities. Kwa hiyo itatusaidia, ni njia mojawapo itatusaidia, na pia vile vile kwa kuongeza wale staff ambao wanahusikana na hii mambo ya kuweza kutafuta miili ya wale wapendwa waliopotea ama waliofariki na wakazikwa bila idhini ya wale wapendwa wao. Hatua waliochukua ya kusema ya kwamba wale ambao wako hapa kama wafanyikazi wa serikali katika vitengo vya juu, ambao tunajua kwamba information kama hiyo ingekuja katika maeneo ya chini mpaka ikawafikia na wakachukua hatua, ni kitu kizuri sana kile umefanya cha kuchukua hatua ya kuambia waondoke sasa, wakae kando, ili uchunguzi uweze kufanywa na wenzao watakaokuja nyuma yao, na tuna hakika na tuko na imani.
I want to pay attention to what Madzayo is saying, that as things are going on, those teachings are still going on, or there's some activities that are still going on in that forest. You know, it's a very expansive area. It's a very big area. It's a vast area. So, is the leadership of Mackenzie, of Kilifi rather, has decreed lack of resources. that the place or that operation is under-resourced, and what exactly could be going on there? Is government evacuating people there? Are they removing people that are staying in the forest? The mirage on what is being hidden there is what I want us to look at. Kindly subscribe to our channel. There are some 5 secrets why Raila Odinga was blocked from getting to that place. That's what I want to say. Number one, the number of people, the figure now stand at I think 130, approximately 132. I am persuaded that that figure is misreported. The number could be more than that. Look at an area of 800 acres of land. 800 acres of land, people staying there and subscribing to the same ideology. And what could have happened here is the state started that operation of exhuming the bodies, and immediately there was a lot of questions on what exactly was going on, and the intelligence was on the point on where were they. I even listened to Wetangula asking where were the media intelligence by then. So the question of where was the intelligence emerged, and the more the number was increasing. In fact, when they started, probably the state were thinking that maybe the number could be some 20 or 10 people. But when it reached, because they stopped it immediately, it hit 65, around 60. So when they saw the number heading to 100, they decided to have some sort of blackout. The media blackout was actually set there, and they are blocking the entry of Raila Odinga there because the number could be misrepresented then. You know, this is it. That number could be more than 100, but they're realizing that the more the number is, they're increasing the number, the government is facing backlash because the public is asking more questions. Where have you been? Why did you not intercept this was going on, or are you behind it? And now the entry of Raila, someone may say that Raila may not, that maybe Raila cannot get that figure even at entry there. Where he was getting to, he cannot walk the whole area. It was just periphery. In fact, that's the point. Where Raila was going to is not, he cannot walk the 25 acres because kwanza walikuwa shaja gari, so they were to walk to that place. The distance that he will cover walking is not a distance that could bring such a huge number. But behind the scene, they know very well that Raila could be having intelligence on exactly quite the number of people or the number of casualties or victims of that place. And so his attendance and his presence in that place will come out and maybe take that opportunity to break the ice, or rather break the news in terms of the numbers that is having. Remember, you just need to take presence. You don't just go there and make some few counts here and there. And of course, when Raila was going to get entry, you are going to allow their forms and maybe some sort of the media team. He could not walk in without the media team. So the number one thing that is going on, in the fullness of time, we will realize that the number that we are being told is not the exact number. Number two, state is trying to protect Mackenzie. I will repeat that and say that again. We don't have strict charges, clear charges for Mackenzie. He's going to be, I'm told, he's detained for 5 more days. When the wife is saying they've been denied food while there. I don't know why they're crying of being denied food while themselves they toxicated masses not to eat so that they go to heaven. And that indoctrination was on the biblical grounds. I am persuaded that looking at the developments, Mackenzie cannot be locked to jail, and the state has committed that he's not going to be locked to jail, even though he's been vilified and lynched in public, but it will end at that public vilification. The national altar is suppressing that story by all means. Ezekiel is released, Mackenzie is going to be next, and they don't want that story to go, because the more it continues, the more the public is baying for the blood of Mackenzie. I am not advocating for injustice, or rather for him to be charged, without trial. Of course, he must face the trial. He must face trial. There is something that I might also see. William Ruto, and rather the security for officers on ground, maybe there is no operation going on there, but people are just pitching tents and some dummy activities to withdraw allowances and to siphon the budget set for that operation. I may be wrong on this, but if you talk to people in security sector, you'll be told those are some of the things that happened. Those are cash cows. Such scenes like Shakahola Forest operation is a cash cow. Maybe they have exhumed. There's little, and if the media will be allowed, we realize that maybe there is little activity going on, because so far, unlike the first few days we were seeing the number of bodies being exhumed, nowadays we are not seeing. So they don't want anything, and what they're keeping there is that they're staying calm. People are just patrolling, walking, and then spending nights in the camps and going, but little activities going on. The operation is maybe almost over, but we need to escalate the days, and so that people continue withdrawing the salaries and the allowances and some dummy expenses in it. In the fullness of time, when you realize the kind of budget made that maybe was floated for that, you may really get shocked. There is a ploy to avoid media coverage to protect the religion, because that had seen as a bit of that's a platform that William Ruto has been using for his political campaigns. So it doesn't want it to escalate, because an escalation of that Kilifi massacre is actually an indictment in religion. It doesn't want to continue with the religion radical that is going on, simply because that is a campaign platform. Lastly, I see someone is saying that Raila might get some political visibility in it, and that could be behind his blockage to enter that place. That's my take. You can also give me what is the intelligence behind it. I understand actually that there was actually an order, because no one knew that Raila was going there. There's actually an order to make sure that does not get the entry.